the actions you take today won't be visible for a few months. At least that's what I experienced over these last couple of weeks. I've spent months reaching out to people in various ways, and it's only now that I'm starting to see the results. So this is a quick motivation for you if you're going through a tough time where you're taking action, but you're not seeing the results that you want to see, whether it's in business, whether it's in sports, whether it's in school, whatever you're doing. Just know that the results will eventually come. So hang in there, don't quit, and you'll be grateful that you didn't quit. I wanted to start this episode of Building Client Revolution in this manner because it's really something that I noticed or that I experienced these last couple of weeks. And it's so weird now that my business is getting in a new level because previously I was just sending outreaches, I was learning, I was making content, I was not actually booking sales calls, and right now I am. And honestly, it gave me a lot of anxiety. It gave me a lot of stress because it's a new phase that I'm in. So there are a lot of things new. I prepped a new sales presentation. Everything is new, and I didn't get feedback yet that it works. Like, I've signed 2 clients now, which is amazing, which is a sign that it works for sure. But before these meetings, I was like eating myself up out of thinking too much about how the call would go without knowing how it would go. Like, you can't predict how a conversation will go. You can do your best to guide it in a certain way that favors you, that favors me, and I've tried that. But it's just not worth it to keep on thinking about it and to try and keep anticipating it, because the actual call will be very different than what you make up in your mind. So that's something that I yet again learned this week. Last week, I have a lot of podcast episodes lined up. I think I did 5 or 3 recordings last week. I'm going to do 4 or 5 this week. I have a few sales calls lined up. So I went from an empty calendar to a calendar with almost every day a few meetings on it, and it requires a little bit of adaptation, not per se in daily routine, but more specifically in my head, because I'm taking new steps right now to grow and build Client Revolution, and it's working. It's just key to keep on focusing on what's working, to keep outreaching to new potential clients, to get in contact, to keep creating content. And I think that's going to be my biggest challenge if I take on new clients, to try and keep balancing that with still working on the business and not only on client work. So that's going to be a very interesting new phase for me, and I'm very happy that I can share it here with you. And that's why I'm sharing the amount of stress that I had last weekend with you as well, because I had a sales call on Monday. I had 4 or 3 podcast recordings on Monday, and I was just really eating myself up, and that's totally unnecessary because I've done this before, not with these people, like not with Americans, not with people from Great Britain. I did it with Belgian coaches and it worked as well. So I just need to keep doing what worked and not try and do something differently because they have a bigger audience or whatever, if that makes sense. And it's just crazy to see results now. Like, I almost can't believe it because I was so used to being in my previous phase of just getting in contact, getting rejections, whatever, that it's weird for me now to really get in a room with the people that I want to get in a room with. So I'm very grateful for that, but it gives me a lot of stress as well sometimes. So I think the biggest message here is don't be too hard on yourself, and enjoy the process, enjoy the steps that you're making, enjoy the progress that you're making. I'm going to try my utterly best to do that as well. So that's what it has been this week. And over the coming weeks, I'm going to take you in more behind the scenes of client work as well, what it is, because right now I still need to do like the kickoff meetings to really get the project started. So I can't tell you much about it because I don't know really much about it. I need to do my research and stuff. But that's going to be in the kickoff meeting. And then afterwards, I can take you through my entire process from start to finish on how I help my clients get more clients. So that's it for this part of the video. Now we're at the accountability section. And my goals of last week were to record one solo podcast episode, record 3 interviews. I've done that. Follow up with potential podcast guests. I've done that as well. 5 times copyright practice. I didn't do that. My mom was on a visit, and that was like the one thing that I could remove out of my schedule that wasn't necessarily a life of that situation or to do, if that makes sense. Make 2 shorts, I've done that, and prep the video launch of an info product, episode 1. I've done that as well. So my goals of this week are finish 1 solo podcast episode, like record and edit and plan it in, and also finish 3 interviews. So the interviews that I've done last week, I want to edit them all and plan them in to come online in the coming weeks. I'm going to do 50 podcast outreaches and the follow-ups to make sure that I keep getting new guests on the pod. So I've decided to not do 100 because that takes a lot of time, and now I need to focus on client work as well and doing the actual podcast and doing the sales calls. So that's why I've chosen 50. That's 10 a day. That's easy to do. Then 5 times copyright practice. Make 3 shorts and do 5 times 8 hours of focused work. In the previous weeks, my focus wasn't what it needs to be to really deliver my best work. So I have this rule, or I have this app on my phone. It's called Forest. And every time I go and do focused work, I plant a tree. So it's just gamified. And when I'm planting a tree, I cannot access my phone. And I know that on my laptop, I don't need to do random stuff. I just need to keep focus on the task at hand, and that helps me a lot. So do 5 days, 8 hours of that. And if I complete all these goals, I will be a very happy man. So yeah, that's it for today. If you like these all over the place episodes and to see how I'm actually growing and building Client Revolution, a marketing agency, then make sure to like and subscribe so you'll stay in the loop of upcoming episodes. And then I wish you an amazing day. Bye-bye.